Our final segment of the evening is the commissioner races. And we have 2 seats in play. The candidates for the term starting January 2nd, 2025 are Jeff Harmer, Barry Lester, Jennifer Snow, and Scott Zimmerman. The candidates for the term starting January 3rd, 2025 are Thom Collier, Bob Phillips, and Drenda Keesee. Because we have so many running in the commissioner races, and we were kind of tight on time earlier, the commissioners only have 1.5 minutes to respond to each question instead of 2 minutes. So I just wanted to make that clear. So, okay. So as you might imagine, many questions from the community related to solar in various forms or another. So we will start with that and get that out of the way. So our first question is for Mr. Collier. You voted to ban large-scale wind farms, but consider solar on a case-by-case basis. Why do you protect residents from wind farms, but not large-scale solar facilities?
Excellent question. So with Senate Bill 52, which the State House passed, required for us to do anything about solar or wind, we had to have a public meeting, and we had to pass a resolution stating our intentions. When we held our public meeting, there were hundreds of people in attendance. Many people spoke. No one spoke in favor of wind. On solar, it was about a 50-50 split. We decided that we would wait and gather additional information and input. We waited the 90 days. We passed our resolution banning wind and leaving open the door for solar, but with restrictions and the ability to consider public input, economic factors, the community's input, and all other factors that we don't have today, or we didn't have if we hadn't passed that resolution. So we did it because we reflected the desires of the community. And since that time, I will say that the people who have communicated with us from throughout the county is still relatively close to a 50-50 split. We're not in favor, we didn't invite it, we don't encourage it, but we do have to deal with it now that it's here. And the Fraser Solar, by the way, was grandfathered, not by us, by the state of Ohio.
Question number 2 goes to Ms. Keesee and Mr. Phillips. You both support farmers, but some of the property owners who signed solar contracts are farmers. That leads to the issue of property rights. You both have said you favor banning utility-scale solar outright. How do you reconcile the 2 positions? And why not let townships decide whether to be an exclusionary zone rather than banning it outright? Ms. Keesee, we'll start with you.
Yes, I was at that meeting on May 24th, 2022, where they received comments from the community, and I went forward and I called the commissioners out, and I said, if you don't protect us, we'll vote you out. I was at that meeting, and I have notes here, 90% of the people were against it. And then nobody was listened to. It was May that happened, and in August, Mr. Collier made a motion to actually allow solar facilities in our area. We woke up one morning to find out 1.5 million solar panels were going to go around our home with no communication from the commissioner's office. I think that if you were having that many solar panels by your house, you'd want to have some communication. I don't think property rights for a casino or a nuclear power plant or a strip club or things like that can happen in your neighborhood right next door to where you've built your property, you've raised your family, you have wildlife, you have beautiful farmland all around you. So I'm so for the farmers. Farmers are heroes, but we cannot let our farmland be tied up with millions of solar panels that destroy the farmland, render it useless afterward. Trustees, I've been to trustee meetings. I was with Clay Township last night, and they passed a resolution after I shared our story to ban any solar facilities 50 megawatts and down, and I so cheer them on. Our farmers shouldn't have such a hard time farming, but also our farmland cannot be ruined. Why would you do that? This is a World Economic Forum agenda, the Green New Deal from the Biden administration.
Mr. Phillips?
Good job, Drenda. Yeah, we are fighting the same fight pretty much. We've been, Preserve Knox County's did a fantastic job. A group of folks didn't even know about it, and then you started seeing yellow signs, and we appreciate their efforts. Knox Smart Development has taken off too. It's two different groups that have been pushing against this big money bulldozer is what I call it, where you have federal government coming in and just, I mean, Knox County is farmland. You take that away, what are you going to have? Everybody says you're going to put houses there. Well, not necessarily. It's going to get, you know, if houses do go there, you're going to have tons more taxes than these big plastic or glass panels. So that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you.
And we just have a quick follow-up, first of all, for Mr. Phillips and Ms. Keesee. And on this, you'll have 30 seconds to respond. So, Knox Pages first reported on solar developers and leasing contracts in May of 2022. You both live in Clinton and Miller Townships, but you've said that you didn't learn about Fraser Solar until 2023. You've called for transparency from the commissioners to inform township residents of changes. Do you call for the same transparency from your township trustees? Mr. Phillips?
I don't think the township trustees knew much about it, to be honest. We've been to almost every township, and they said they did not know. So when that happens, who was supposed to inform them? Is it the property right? I mean, it's a zoning issue, in my opinion. You'll say that the state of Ohio thinks solar panels is agriculture, which blows me out of the way because you're harvesting sun, I guess. But in my opinion, the transparency wasn't given even to the trustees. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Ms. Keesee?
I had a face-to-face confrontation with Thom Collier. Didn't know I'd be running against him at the time at MVNU, and I went up to him and I said, why don't you do something to stop the future potential of these happening to other people, because I know what happened to us. It was devastating. And he said, it's a done deal. There's nothing that can be done about it. But what I learned is the Ohio Public Siting Board told me face-to-face myself that if our commissioners would stand against it and our trustees, that they had turned down 2 other projects in Ohio. There's over 100,000 acres in Ohio being focused on for solar. And so we need to be transparent with people. We need to talk to them, and our commissioners need to talk to trustees.
Thank you. Thank you. And a quick follow-up from Mr. Collier, and again, you have 30 seconds also. Is there anything you would do different in the future in terms of communicating with township trustees or residents?
We have to follow the Ohio Revised Code. The Ohio Revised Code called for us to have a public meeting which has public notice. We had that public notice. We had plenty of time in between. We spoke between one of the 3 commissioners at every regional planning commission meeting, every township trustee quarterly meeting where they meet for dinner, at pretty much every meeting we were at. Whether they come to those things and decide to participate is up to them. But we did everything according to the law, everything according to the way we were supposed to do it, and that's the way we do it.
Thank you. Okay, moving to the candidates for the January 2nd term. Similar question. Do you favor banning utility-scale solar outright or leaving it to each township to decide whether to be an exclusionary zone? And how do you reconcile property rights with an outright ban if that's what you favor? Mr. Harmer, we'll start with you.
Well, I think in general, if we get government decisions closest to home, the best off we are. And so quite honestly, a lot of times our decisions are inverted at a higher level, and we need to seek down to the communities, and I'm so in favor of empowering townships at a greater level so that they can make those decisions for their community and grow it up the ladder as opposed to receiving a dictatorial direction sometimes. I've sat on zoning boards. I agree with my colleagues down there that it's a fallacy to call solar farming agricultural. It's not regulated by the Department of Ag, but here again, in a real zoning reality where the township could, in fact, have had those zoning variance hearings, the surrounding properties would have all been notified by it. It would have all empowered that community to make the decision for themselves and then seek upward the approval if necessary. But I totally agree. Getting back home to earth is the closest and best decisions ever get made because it represents the people the best.
Mr. Lester?
I've been opposed, excuse me, I have opposed solar since the beginning of my campaign in October. Once again, thanks to Preserve Knox County, the folks here with the yellow and black signs. There's a couple things that I think people always forget. I'm going to give you 3 letters, LLC. If you do not know what LLC stands for, look it up tonight. This is a harbor for a company to file bankruptcy at any time. All these solar companies are LLCs. The other thing I will ask you, if it's such a great idea, why are the solar companies offering $10,000 to $15,000 to a neighbor next to somebody who wants to do solar as hush money? What's your first clue there? Okay. Here's $15,000, keep your mouth shut. Here's some hush money because we're going to put solar all around you. $15,000 will never cover the damage that you're going to receive next to a solar field with erosion or possibly toxicity. You need to keep those things in mind. The decommissioning is way off. There's no room for inflation. It's flat line. There is not enough money in there to decommission it. The other thing I want you to understand is leases can be sold and renegotiated. So your original lease may only be good for 2 years, and somebody else can assume that and renegotiate what you're getting paid.
Ms. Snow?
Jump up.
Yes, thank you. So once again, I think that we failed with the communication with the county, with the townships and the commissioners. And I feel like if we would have had better communication, we would have seen this coming and we could have protected it kind of ahead of time. Ohio doesn't get a lot of sun, so we know that it's money-driven. And as the other candidates have said, these big investors are coming in, they're throwing big numbers at our farmers, and these farmers have been struggling for years, some of them. Some of them are very, very profitable, other ones struggle. So everybody has their own struggle. And so when you throw big money at them, it's very hard to say no to that. With that being said, these companies are going to come in, they're going to get all the grants, they're going to get the tax credits, and like Barry said, they're going to disappear, and then they're going to leave the farmer just sitting with all the mess. And he can't use his field, he can't do anything. And you know how expensive that would be to try to get rid of those panels? And we can't recycle. I'm all about recycling. Let's educate our county more on conservation. Let's put these farms in conservation and let's protect them forever. So that way we don't have to worry about them getting taken over by these greedy investors.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Thank you. Whoops. Watch it. Okay, since I signed my first petition and I picked it up, I have been for property rights. Now, when I tell people I'm for property rights, they immediately say that I am pro-solar. That is not true. I am for the person having the property rights. Now, I also believe, as Mr. Harmer said, the townships need to make that decision because we all live in our townships, okay? The townships need to make, and they are. The townships are. I think there's 8 now. 10 now? 10. 2 more must have signed recently. I think Clay and someone else did.
Last night, Clay.
Last night, thank you. So that's great because we are the townships, okay? And we're the city, we're the villages. That's where the decision needs to be made. And that's what House Bill 52 did. Now, everyone's going to talk about transparent. I'm so tired of hearing transparency. Now, the reason I'm tired of hearing about it is because I've seen the commissioners working. I've seen what they do when they have sessions and things like that. Never once have I felt that they've tried to keep something from me. They work hard, and this is a product, this whole thing, I believe, is morphed so bad because we got the federal government sticking their nose in there and subsidizing things that would not stand on their own. I have a small business. There's no one subsidizing me. And if I fail, I fail. So that is where I stand on that.
Thank you. There's more to a commissioner's role than solar, so we're going to move on to controlling growth. That's something that all of the candidates have commented on. Township zoning typically guides and controls the growth in the unincorporated areas of the county. So the question, and we will stay down here with this table. As commissioner, how do you intend to stop uncontrolled growth? Do you advocate incentives such as community reinvestment areas to direct growth to certain parts of the county? And we will start with Mr. Lester.
I have a hard time here. First off, I think this is a zoning issue, and we talk about township trustees being empowered. You know, everybody's pushing for planned neighborhood development. The thing that we need to be careful of is, if we fight solar, are we just going to still alleviate the farmland and turn it into housing development? Right now, I think everybody's in a push to increase. I'm not into a big increase mode. We don't have the infrastructure, the foundation for it. We don't have the schools ready. We don't have our city, county, state employees ready. We don't have the infrastructure ready. Our first responders are not ready. We need to fight one battle at a time, the first one being solar, and the next one is rapid expansion. I think that we can divert rapid expansion by all of us gaining at the same time. Everybody needs to understand that the root of all evil is money. So when money is thrown at you, whether it be for your land for development and or solar, you're gonna win, but you're gonna lose. We need to keep our area rural. We are a rural community. We are not the next Dublin. We are not the next Westerville. We are Knox County. If you were born and raised here, you love Knox County. You want it to remain a farming hometown community.
Ms. Snow.
Thank you. Having been in real estate for 30 years, it's unbelievable the growth that we've already had, especially if you look at Apple Valley. We need housing. We have a lot of people that, you know, they need affordable housing, not, you know, $700,000 and up. We need housing for people who work regular jobs, and we don't have that. We've had an influx of metropolitan buyers coming in. They're selling out in the big cities. They're coming here, they're offering over asking price, waiving the appraisals. It's crazy. And then the people that are like us, normal people, we can't afford to even buy in our own neighborhoods. So together with the township, together with different groups, we need to come up with ways to protect our farms. Once again, like I said earlier, conservation is a great way. We live beside a farm that the farmer put his 105 acres in a conservation, and thankfully it will remain that farm for until the end of, I don't know if there's a limit on the conservation, but I think it's forever. And, you know, create a way to have these huge developers come in and charge them, make them pay big, and they'll run away. They won't want to give us their money.
Thank you. Mr. Zimmerman.
Can you do me a favor and repeat the last part of your question, please?
Do you advocate incentives such as community reinvestment areas to direct growth to certain parts of the county?
Thank you. Well, again, since we started this whole thing, pardon me, I have been meeting with Jeff Gocke with Area Development. I've talked with people with the Land Bank, talked with Teresa Bemiller. She's on one of many committees. And yes, I do support investing back in that, but also you got to understand, we had over 200, I believe it was 265 lot splits last year. That was farmland that was split into housing developments. Now, what's crucial in my thinking is I don't want sprawl. We've all been through Delaware County where you're going through and you got all these beautiful fields and then boom, you got a 50 and over housing development out in the middle of nowhere. I think we need to concentrate our growth where we have infrastructure. And when I say infrastructure, I don't just mean roads, bridges, electric, and things like that. Infrastructure, that is your schools, your hospital, your SO, your sheriff's department, your police department, your fire departments, and squads. So as we grow as a community, and it is going to happen, we are going to grow, but what we have to do is stay on top of it. And with all my experience I've had with the city and the state of Ohio, and Ariel Foundation Park, when I was operations director out there, I'm well equipped to be able to work with the community and the developers if need be. But see, a commissioner doesn't do that. A commissioner has many rules, but they're not like a dictatorship here, okay? The ORC is the rules. Sorry, I went over. I got on a roll there.
Mr. Harmer. Sorry.
Guiding growth is the challenge. My personal experience at Apple Valley over the last 26 years, I've seen the population double. I've seen deed transfers around 350 a year. And so a development like that could never happen in Knox County again. In 1970, they dropped $30.5 million to build Apple Valley. That price would be astronomical right now, but one of the concerns I have is, and I've heard it through the solar program, is the commissioners went to regional planning, they've went to all these townships and stuff, and we really have no teeth in regional planning. Regional planning is an organization that participates all of the townships and the cities, but they recommend, but they don't control. And so all of the townships have their own little zoning books. I will tell you that Howard Township, we just redid our zoning book. It's interesting with all the townships. I know that some of the cities and municipalities are looking at a standard, if you will, for zoning, so that it's a lot easier for our prosecutor to enforce these things. Guiding growth has got to be a professional. Whether we stick with regional planning and empower them and really excite the participants so that we are in a decision-making matter, or that we look toward a true planner that's a professional that does this for a living. He's trained to do it, and we actually have a professional representing our county for us instead of no communication.
Thank you.
You're up.
Ms. Snow, you mentioned creating a contractor registration to bring in revenue to pay for infrastructure needed for the growth. What does that involve? What county department would administer it? And are more personnel needed? And if it includes fees, will the money go to the county or to the townships?
Registration fees for contractors. So with the influx of the growth, this was one of the things that I had talked about before, to create revenue for our county, this is a great way to do it without creating more personnel to handle it. We have huge developers, and I'm not picking on one in particular, but Schlaball is just a good example because most people know his name. He comes in, the majority of his contractors do not live in Knox County. They live in another county, and all the money that they make here, they take with them. We don't see a dime of that. And as a contractor, my husband and I, we own a company. I have to pull permits and licenses for him everywhere he works. And we pay taxes in those villages and those municipalities, the towns everywhere. So I would love to create a way and use our current offices, our current county offices to handle receiving the registrations. There would be a fee. I would work together with the county to determine what that fee is. I would say $120 would be a good start. And then they would need to put in a tax return in April with what they made in Knox County for a fee. And I would love to keep it in the townships to help with the infrastructure that they're dealing with, or the villages, or even Mount Vernon.
Thank you. Mr. Zimmerman?
Yes.
You cite infrastructure as a concern also. What are the infrastructure problems that you see, and how will you address them?
Thank you. One of the big areas that is a problem is land right now that is already kind of prepped with infrastructure. Now, when they started out on the old Pressler area there behind on Gilchrist Road, thankfully they had water and sewer already there, and then that ran kind of behind the properties down to the developmental center, which then goes ahead and runs on into the town. The biggest problem we have right now is we have to find the properties that are desirable for people to come in to invest and pay for the permits. Now, I also have a small business. I pay taxes for the city of Mount Vernon. I don't live in the city of Mount Vernon, but when I do businesses and work there and make money, I pay taxes on the money I make there. And it's like that, throughout the other villages. So I do think that we need to address, first of all, the property. Second of all, the permitting. I have no problem with zoning. See, that's what area development, they are getting the master plan for zoning and all this, and the townships are putting in their 2 cents and what they want for, commercial, manufacturing, residential, and agriculture. So once we get those decided, then we got to move on the streets, the roads, the electric, and everything. And as we grow, then our support staff will grow as well.
This next question is for Mr. Harmer and Mr. Lester. You mentioned the county's aquifer and water resources as one of the challenges the county is facing. In what way? Mr. Lester?
Just so you know, I'm not making faces at the candidates when they talk. I can't hear. We have this creature called Intel knocking on our back door, and everybody knows that. Right now, Knox County has one of the best water supplies or aquifers in the area. We've already seen Delco come to Knox County, take water. Right now, Intel and all the umbrella companies that are coming with it, there's not enough water supply for them. They've got to go somewhere to get water. This is also part of the solar plan that's going on, even though we only have 72 days of pure sunlight in Ohio, and it's 20% accurate. So we don't need to start sharing our benefits that we have in this county for outside manufacturing because they've decided to go somewhere, and now they're going to need some of the influence that we have in this county, our natural resources, our land, our water. It's going to be hard enough because our employees are going to be challenged. We're going to be challenged to keep them in the area. So we have to start protecting our natural resources that will be attacked by the umbrella of Intel, Amazon, and all the other umbrellas under it. Like I say, we've seen Delco come. We don't need Intel to come and take more of our resources.
Mr. Harmer?
Replay, I'm guessing 25, 27 years ago, Delco came to Fredericktown, Ohio. As a lieutenant on the police department, I remembered doing security at the meetings at the gymnasium at the school because Delco's proposal was to put a well at Bryant Road and take 1 million gallons a day out of our county. And they've successfully done that and piped it through Morco and Delco. Mr. Phillips told me the other day, and I'm going to do some hearsay here, that pumping station right now is 5 million gallons a day. we have precious resources here that are our resources. The beautiful thing that occurred after Delco is we learned a lesson, and the county then created a county water district within all unincorporated areas in the county. And so no longer could Delco sneak in here and buy up some property before the county got involved. So smart move a long time ago, but we still hold the keys to that. The county commissioners still hold the keys to all of our resources when it comes to water. We're seeing our farmland in question. So to me, I agree with Mr. Lester that our property, our county is precious to us. And we know that growth is coming and we need to guide it, but we need to retain it. And I would hate to see the day when we lose 20 million gallons a day to our southern border, because we do have a southern border crisis just like Texas.
Thank you. We are going to move down to the candidates for the January 3rd term, and Grant will ask the next question.
This is for all the candidates. As commissioner, how do you intend to stop uncontrolled growth? Do you advocate incentives such as community reinvestment areas to direct growth to certain parts of the county? And we'll start with Mr. Phillips.
Okay, thank you. How do you control growth? It's hard when the dollars are so huge, just like the farmers are facing today with the solar. Development will come through, and it's slow because, I mean, we've been pretty much the same size for a long, long time. My dad was the one that, as commissioner, when Apple Valley was developed, and here we are, how many years later, and it's finally filling up. So 6,600 lots out there were developed, 3 farms, and a great big tax base for our Knox County in terms of schools and everything else. Gave Harmer a job for a few years. So with that being said, what else is going to happen? Is it going to keep coming this way, like something similar to that? And the answer is probably yes, with the present environment that we're facing, just like south of town. Big developments going on. The Gilcrest Road project. Schlabel just built my son a house. I think Roy's great. He's bought a huge base of taxable homes to our neighborhood. So does he take cash out? Nobody has developed a great tax base that our county still charges for real estate taxes at a very high level, and a quality product. So there's all that going on, and farms are getting split down to 265 lots like we learned the other day. So that was fast.
Ms. Keesee?
Here you go.
So it is the great American dream to own a home, start a small business, and to grow your community. And so I'm not against growth. Growth is coming whether we like it or not, but what kind of growth? What kind of vision do we have? If we don't have a vision, we perish, right? If we don't have boundaries, borders, and a vision of what we want to accomplish, a master plan, if we don't want to grow the middle class and the middle income here, young people will not be able to own homes. Right now we have a lot of rental properties in our community, and these rental properties end up being very high priced. Our rental properties are as high as Columbus in some ways. We have so many, if you will, slumlords in the area. We do not have the growth of kids being able to have their own homes, and I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing these rundown properties getting high cost because we've not developed areas for kids to build homes, young people to have a great quality. We've had our American dream. Let's give them their American dream, and we need to be able to have growth, protected growth, though. Do we want solar panels, Section 8 housing, crime, drugs, or do we want to have middle-class, wonderful homes, a great community, keep our farm, rural life, keep our families strong, keep our small businesses growing instead of big corporate sprawl coming from New Albany, Intel, and all these places. They're trying to get credits by using us for their green energy, and I say we should not have a parasitic relationship with Columbus, but we should build a great community with a great master plan and accommodate our kids and our legacy for our grandkids.
Mr. Collier?
Great speech, but welcome to the party. This is the Knox County Growth Strategy. It's something we've been working on and implementing over time. It has a number of factors, including a county comprehensive plan and map, countywide land use plan and map, incorporating zoning updates, high-level county transportation plan, infrastructure, residential broadband, commercial. These are already things that we've been working on. We don't work in the dark. And talking about preserving our farmland, again, I say welcome to the party. I was in the legislature in 2000 when I worked with then Director Fred Daly, Department of Agriculture, when Clean Ohio was passed for $40 million to preserve farmland throughout our state. That's been renewed in 2008. It's continued to be successful. We have 6,700 acres of farmland that's been preserved in Knox County for as either an ag easement or as a ag conservation plan. We have done a great job. In fact, I personally have, in a very small way, been a member and tried to keep up donations to our local trusts. That would be the Owl Creek Conservancy and the Philander Chase Conservancy. I don't remember seeing my opponents' names on those lists. I don't remember seeing my opponents at any of the meetings in the last 25 years where we've been talking about these things. This is important, and welcome to the party.
Thank you. Ms. Keesee, you mentioned creating a task force and a master development plan. We have a county comprehensive plan. What do you like about it, and what would you do different?
I would not try to do apartments, I would try to do housing and get us more utilities out from the northern part of Mount Vernon and go out from there so that we have the ability to help young people have homes, develop homes instead of apartment complexes. I'm not for apartment complexes, but I also have a 15-acre wetland with all kinds of wildlife, and those solar farms are all around it. So I don't believe our plan was a very good plan, honestly. Whatever it entailed, it didn't protect our farmland, it didn't protect our wetlands. And so I think that we say we have a master plan, but when I look at the area development plan and I look at it, looks like industry and outside interests are running our plans.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Collier and Mr. Phillips, same questions for you. What do you like about the comprehensive plan, and what would you do different? And we'll start. And we'll start with Mr. Collier.
Our comprehensive plan is good, but it has to be updated on a regular basis. We're in that process right now. Our comprehensive plan is not just about industry and outside business, but it does have an economic development factor. The commissioners were a good portion of the efforts to take the old Siemens plant, to get rid of some of the dilapidated buildings, to bring in new industry. Those buildings are selling, investors are coming. The manufacturing is coming. Those will fill up quickly, and it will be a great economic boon to our community. They will need housing. They will need low and moderate housing, and there will be a need for high housing. We're way behind on the pendulum of trying to build housing at a rapid rate to keep up with the growth that's coming. We're already behind the 8 ball on that. We work diligently on those issues, and we'll continue to do so. We'll continue to upgrade our plan. We're in the process of it now, and we do work with our economic development partners at ADF. They've done a great job on that, and to say that it's just, open arms only to business and to outside investors is untrue, but of course we want outside investors to be investing in jobs in Knox County and bringing good economy and good jobs to Knox County.
And then Mr. Phillips.
Yeah, Daryl Severns, I know he was going around helping each township develop a new comprehensive plan that they're hoping to pass in 2024. I don't know if all townships agree with the plan. I haven't been that involved with that plan. I'm new at the game, to be honest. Been a farmer, been a property owner, been business owner, all those fun things. So it's time for me to get involved and maybe put my 2 cents in. Sorry, I haven't done that. but I feel like would be an asset to that environment. Thanks.
All right, this is for all candidates. And we'll start with Mr. Phillips. Of all the departments and commissioners oversee, which presents the biggest challenge financially and why?
I think the biggest one's the sheriff. I think our SO department could have help, could have more. That is, our border crisis is real. It's coming here, just like the China thing they just busted a couple of weeks ago. This is real stuff, and it's finally starting to hit home. They need more resources. Make it happen somehow, or it ain't going to happen.
Ms. Keesee?
I absolutely agree. Illegal immigration is our biggest national threat. They're after our food, our energy, our children, our small businesses, and they're infiltrating every area. We don't have any resolution in place to keep illegal immigrants from being dropped at our doorstep. So we need to put a wall around Knox County and protect us, protect our borders as well as the southern border, and drive out these lies. We also need to do something for our children more. I think that reading, writing, and arithmetic is the foundation for all of our learning. We need to stop these social agendas that are attacking our children, attacking their identity, confusing them about who they are, and get back to families and parents being the ones that decide what our children are learning in the school systems. And we're an educational community. Let's do the best for our children, and let's protect them. And we should not be giving illegal immigrants the resources that should belong to our seniors, to our vets, to our young people that are trying to get started in purchasing housing. And so this is a serious issue, and I agree with Bob on that. We must put a border around Knox County and decide what we will and will not do. And we can put a resolution in place that says, no, we are not going to sanctuary anybody that's an illegal immigrant. We're not going to let someone that's coming here illegally. Of course, we welcome immigrants to do it the right way, but not illegally. Knox County has to be preserved and protected, and so does our way of life and our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Collier?
Thank you. First of all, again, wonderful things that they're talking about, but we're talking about a county commissioner's position. We don't pass resolutions to talk about that people can't come to through our borders or across our roadways. We have to deal with reality. Commissioners have a particular duty to do, and we do it. 47% of our entire $25 million general fund budget is tied up in what we call the justice line items. That means when somebody gets arrested, maybe they were doing drugs or selling drugs, we pay the officers who arrest them. We take them to our jail. We pay for the jail to house them. We pay for the prosecutor to prosecute them. We have to pay for their defense through the public defender's office. Then they go to the courts, which we pay for by county dollars. Then they go back to the jail or they go to probation, which are paid for by county dollars. These are social problems that we deal with, and we will continue to deal with until we can get cultural changes. And we can do a lot, but again, what makes great speeches and what you can do from the commissioner's office sometimes are different things. We have to look at what we can do in our county as county commissioners, and we're not building a wall around our borders. Yes, we are hard on illegals. If they come here illegally, they're going to be arrested, and hopefully we can deal with them better and get support from our federal government.
Right.
But let's not talk about.
Yeah, thank you. Ms. Keesee, you said with growth at our door, we need better physical management. How would you change current fiscal policy, and what is your philosophy about paying cash for projects versus taking out a loan or a bond?
I like what Mr. Noggle said about what we do with illegal immigration. We take them to Columbus and let them deal with it. But anyway, I think that communication is lacking and team building is lacking. When I travel around and talk to trustees, and I know all of us have had that same experience, they're not in the know. They do not understand the facts about what's going on with the development. They don't understand some of the fiscal situations that are going on. And so I believe that we have the experts here in Knox County, the people that we work with and eat with and travel with, and we're with at ball games and everything. I ran into Rick Schaffer, and he and P20, it's a group of 20 first responders. They get together on their own time to try to protect our community. They've got ways, they've put together things, even ways to protect our schools, because they don't feel that we're protected from the illegal immigration and some of the situations. I'm not saying to keep people out from our roads. I'm saying that we need to have a sanctuary of protecting our own citizens first. And the fiscal responsibility, when I look at some of the budgets and some of the situations and items, to me, our sheriff's department and doing the police work that needs to be done with the sheriff is very important, and I don't see as much has been done there as could be done. And I think that we can reallocate some funds and also grow our small businesses so that we have more revenue coming into the county. It grieves me to see so many small businesses close, even this past year. People with great products, good things, but just need more help and encouragement how to grow their business.
All right, thank you. Mr. Phillips, the same question goes for you. How would you change our current fiscal policy, and what's your philosophy about either paying for paying for projects via cash or taking out a loan?
Well, I'll get two of them. But the largest income generator is a sales tax for the county. It's almost half the income. So how are we going to get small businesses in here where people are spending money and buying our product to create that sales tax is the game. That way it gives the county more revenue. Revenue goes to these services and help protect our space. So that's what I feel. You get better businesses in here, small businesses help these folks, and then sales taxes will go up for that environment, and so will the income to the county.
And then Mr. Collier.
Thank you. And again, I don't want to overuse it, but welcome to the party. The commissioners during COVID gave out grants to small businesses to help them survive through those difficult times. The commissioners through ADF have given facade grants and improvements for small businesses. And personally, even outside of my job as commissioner, you can go on my social media and see where I promote small business across the county on a regular basis, day in and day out. I haven't seen my opponents at any of those things. I don't see them at community events. I don't see them at business events. I don't see them at the things that are involved here. For 40 plus years, I've been involved in the community, not only as a small business owner, but helping other small businesses. This is a vital part of our position, to be involved in the community. I remember in the 1970s coming up to this very spot where you're sitting and shoveling pigeon poop out of this space because this building, the roof had collapsed. It was condemned, almost condemned. They fixed the roof. I was in the membership of the first committee in the 1990s that bought this building for $200,000 and had a vision for restoring it into what you see today. When I was at the State House, I brought capital fund dollars to restore this very theater. This is not something I did yesterday because I decided to run for commissioner. This is decades of involvement in the community.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to move over to the January 2nd term candidates, and this is a question for everyone. And we're going to start with Mr. Zimmerman. Of the departments the commissioners oversee, which presents the biggest challenge financially and why?
Thank you. Pardon me. It's a toss-up between the SO, the Sheriff's Department, and Job and Family Services. When I first started going to the meetings, I heard the director at Job and Family Services come in and talk. I was shocked. Our county spends around $250,000 per month for the kids' well-being, places to stay, food, clothes, and foster. And I know my opponent here, she's been a foster mom for quite a while and helping, and God bless her. That's a very noble thing. But that is very big. We just had a levy, and we all know about our property taxes. Who in the world wants to pay for another levy? Well, the commissioners had to put $1 million out of the general fund towards that. If not, they would not have the money. So we need to look and try to figure out some more revenue streams. And of course, we need to build up our small businesses and our local businesses to be able to get those tax dollars going. It is about 54%, I believe, or 51% of sales tax is our budget, and then the other is coming from property. So that's where I'm at. The SO, they kind of tie together there. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, fine, thank you. Mr. Harmer?
Being a commissioned police officer since January of 1985, my passion is public service, and that extends to the entire justice. And when we deal with people in the justice system, it affects other areas that are taking some of the money. The job and family services, there's some intertwining there that in some aspects there was sharing of resources. I think moving forward, I'm not in a position to sit here right now and say that the current commissioners have done a horrible, non-fiscal responsible job with the funds that we've had. I don't think that would be very foundational, but I do believe that my experience being fiscally responsible for the second largest community for over 26 years puts me in a place of understanding investments, laddering, budgeting, and where those important dollars need to be spent. So as it all wraps up, I mean, obviously the Sheriff's Department is probably where my passion is, but as Mr. Zimmerman spoke about, Job and Family Services, all of the other departments have a key integral part in making this a fiscally strong county, and we just really can't say, well, this one's the most important, because they all have a play to make Knox County great.
All right, thank you. Ms. Snow?
Well, this question just grabs my heart because, as Scott said, I have fostered 23 foster teen girls in 21 years. And one of the reasons why I decided to run was because Knox County did not renew the levy for children's services. And that money needed to be there for these kids. These kids didn't ask to be in foster care. These kids don't ask to be in poverty. The parents, that they don't ask to be like this, to struggle as well. We need to assist and help and educate. With that being said, the money came out when the levy didn't renew. It wasn't new money. It was money we were already paying. It didn't renew. So that money comes out of the commissioner's budget to help with children's services, when that money could have went to the sheriff's office. It could have went to our senior citizens, our senior levy. We need to be supporting our job and family services. We need to be helping the seniors and the sheriff's office, because it all ties together. It's like this vicious circle, because when the kids aren't being cared for, they're getting in trouble, and then they're going to be our future felons. So we are commanded as Christians to take care of our widows and our orphans. And that is what we need to be doing. So let's focus on those areas.
Thank you.
Good time.
And Mr. Lester?
Share a little background knowledge. We talk about being fiscally solid. I took over a company years back that was netting $6 million a year. When I left, in 10 years, it was netting $18 million. That's a big number. So you have to be very fiscally knowledge to do that. We're not dealing with those big numbers, but we're still dealing with numbers. So I'll carry on. I'm a discharged veteran. I still cry when I hear taps, and sometimes I weep when we say the Pledge of Allegiance. My heart goes out to these first responders, the Sheriff's Department, emergency responders. They're our lifeline. They've done everything they can for us. We need to keep them protected. We need to keep them safe. We need to make them feel like they're secure. We always talk about money. Money doesn't always make somebody feel secure. What makes you feel secure is that you're loved and wanted and respected. You have good benefits. You have a safe home to go home to. That's what makes you secure. Money can't cure everything. We need to talk about how we protect whoever the sheriffs are, whoever the first responders are. How do we make them feel whole? It's not always money. Does it need money? Yes. We'll figure out a way to get it there.
Thank you. This question is for all the candidates, too, and it's a similar question we asked earlier on the other side. How would you change current fiscal policy, and what is your philosophy about paying cash for a project or taking out a loan or a bond? And we'll start with Mr. Harmer.
Well, my proper answer is going to be depends, because we don't know what projects are, the dynamics of them, the needs of them, the priorities of them, and where our current cash position is. Can we actually, because of great planning, spend the money out of our current cash position without having to go out to a bond issue? My experience as a Board of Health member over the last 15 years, we've had to reach out to the county to get bond issues so that we can advance our access to health care throughout this FQHCs that we've been putting in Danville and dental clinics in Danville and stuff. So sometimes bonds are necessary, but really cash flow is the secret for planning. Now, nobody plans for a disaster. And right now, I don't know that the county has this exorbitant. I'd reach up to the sky there and get the nod of a big rainy day fund where we got cash flow for that disaster. But it's all about the fiscal planning in the cash flow, laddering our investments, and walking that walk through excellent planning, and that's really the key. And I'll just go back to it: is planning, planning, planning.
Thank you. Ms. Snell?
Well, everybody knows cash is always king. If you can pay cash for it, it's smarter. You're not losing money with the different charges, and a lot of times you can get a better deal if you pay cash for it. Planning is key, like Jeff said. We do need to make sure that we have a rainy day fund. So if we need to fix something or we need to correct something, we might not want to pull from our rainy day fund just because you don't know when you're going to need that. So if you do need to go to bond versus cash, I think that's a decision that you have to make and weigh out the factors. How is that going to work? How much is it going to cost us in the long run? And if it's going to make sense. That's pretty much what I have.
Thank you. And Mr. Lester?
Funds appropriation is a touchy subject, and everybody chuckles when I say that. But when you're dealing with a budget like the current commissioners are, part of their job is to secure and make sure that we are healthy. And currently, we are healthy as a county, so they have done a good job. Emergency funds are something a little different than I think what the question was, but I can't hear really good. So emergency funds is something catastrophic that the commissioners can apply for to receive either state benefits and or some grants to help prepare that. I think budgetarily, financially, this county is in pretty good shape. Can it be changed? Sure. How long will it take? I don't think anybody on this stage has that idea or even knows the answer to that. And if they do, they're a smarter man than me or smarter woman than me, because budget is budget is budget. They are handed the budget. Their appropriations are what they deal with. It isn't like they can flip a coin in the air and go, okay, this year somebody gets this, and they don't get this much. It's more science and more financial studies than I think we're putting into this, so.
And Mr. Zimmerman?
Okay, thank you. Well, I can honestly tell you that we do have 6 months in arrears because I've been to all the commissioner meetings that I can possibly make and still run a business. We have 6 months in arrears, and that's because our commissioners have done a good job financially for our county. Now, do I agree with them on 100%? I don't agree with my wife 100%. I've been married to her for 38 years. She knows that. So, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of going down a hole here. Okay, 60 seconds. We do have 6 months in arrear. Now, if there's a disaster, something like that, see, like when I was with the city, we had tornadoes come through, blew up the parks and tore up everything. Then you go to FEMA. That's why FEMA's there. We had to keep track of our hours. They reimburse us for labor, saws, equipment, and all of that. The year, right before the 4th of July, we almost lost every tree in the backside of Memorial Park. We had to get everyone in there. We had every person and a couple loggers coming in from the maintenance crew with the city. We cleaned that up, and then we had to make sure we took credit, took count the hours and the money. FEMA reimbursed us. Yes, it's a headache because anybody in here, if you ever dealt with taxes with the federal government, everything's a headache. But we do have monies in arrear, and you don't want to waste those money. They're paying down the debt
Thank
now. And, okay.
Sorry.
Time's up.
All right, we're going to switch back to Cheryl.
Thanks.
I know, 1.5 minutes isn't very long to
You're killing
get
me.
the answer in, I know. This next one might be a little interesting for everyone, and I'm throwing my timers a little bit of a curveball here. You will get 1.5 minutes to answer this question, and we'll start with this table here. We'll start with Mr. Lester, and we'll work our way down this way. What sets you apart from your opponents?
What sets you apart?
Appreciate it, brother. You know, that's a great question. I will tell you that people have asked me, why in the world are you going to be a politician? So let me get one thing straight. I am not going to be a politician. I'm going to be a servant. I have not endorsed a state official or endorsed anybody running for a state position. I have not endorsed a federal setter. I have not endorsed anybody running for such position because I never want to have the knock on the door or the ring of the phone that says, by the way, remember the favor I did for you? I want it back. I am not a politician, I'm a servant. I'm my own person. I will work for the people. I will be fair, just, and transparent. I'm a Second Amendment lover. I think our children need to be safe, and our grandchildren need to be safe, and we need to be able to drive around this country and say what a beautiful area we have. I will do everything we can in our power. Now, here's the key thing. Everybody thinks that one of these commissioners get elected, that change comes. I will not promise change because it takes a majority to make change. You can't fight a battle alone.
Mr. Zimmerman?
Good job. No, I'm all good. Okay, please start my time now. The thing that sets me apart, and I was asked this when we went to the endorsement meeting. My opponents here, we all love our county. We all want to be good. We want to do good for our families. We want our kids and grandkids to do well. The thing, and because I am set different from my other three opponents, doesn't mean I don't like them. But here's the deal. since I pulled my packet, I've been to every meeting I possibly can, and then some. I've tried to rearrange schedules. I've rearranged everything in my life to try to be able, when I get elected to this position, I can hit the ground running. A county commissioner is one of 3 votes. When they're not like city council, they're not like, a legislation board, they are an appropriation board. So that is where I needed to pick up some more advice and more knowledge, and that's what I'm doing. And quite frankly, we're going to learn our whole lives. If we don't learn every day something new, you're not doing much. So that is what sets me apart. I will work tirelessly. I will be in the office more than likely every day. I'm trying to fill Teresa's shoes. And to fill those, you better pack a lunch. Because there is, I'll finish that later.
So for me, not only am I passionate about Knox County, but I think I've proven my love for Knox County and our community. I've donated all of my time since my kids were little. What sets me apart is I work, and I work tirelessly, and I don't give up. I'm self-motivated. I've been committed. I didn't wait to get involved when I pulled my packet to run for county commissioner. I've been involved for years. I've been involved with the Republican women. I started out as just attending, and then Cheryl Feasel decided she needed a break, so I became the secretary and the reporter. And then now, as of January, I'm the president of the Republican Women. But being a Girl Scout leader for 9 years, coaching my daughter's softball teams and helping with the cross country and the track, running my husband's businesses, making sure that I make time for my church family and my kids, making sure there's dinner on the table, doing laundry. Any working woman knows that when you have a career, it's hard to balance the house too, and somehow as a woman, we were able to do it. So what sets me apart is I am going to be in that office every day. I'm going to have evening meetings. I'm going to be at the township meetings, and I'm going to be listening to my constituents' voices, because that's how we are going to make sure that Knox County stays safe and we keep growing in the right direction.
Thank you. Mr. Harmer?
Thank you. I guess what sets me apart from everybody else is, ever since I've been a youth, I seem to strive to excel in anything I get involved with. In scouting, I became an Eagle Scout. When I was 5 years old, I said I was going to be a doctor during the day and a policeman at night, not knowing you had to sleep. Since then, for the last 4 decades, I've been involved with everything from fire service, EMS service, law enforcement service, recreational boards, zoning boards, the Board of Health, where I focus really on health, safety, and just life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I have taken the oath on more than one occasion to uphold the Constitution, the state laws, and the local ordinances, and that's a 24/7 oath. I've never taken an oath where I'm only in it 8 hours a day. Anybody that ever knows me knows that my heart is serving the people that are in front of me. I, like Barry, am not a politician, but I just foster the love of people in front of me, knowing that we're all called to love our neighbor, and anybody that's in front of me is my neighbor at that moment, and that's where my heart is.
Ms. Keesee?
I am a hard worker. I'll get it done. If I give you my word, my promise, I will do whatever it takes to accomplish it. When we came here almost 30 years ago, built our house on 60 acres, and our dream to live in Knox County, the first time I saw this square, I said, I want to live here. I love this place. Our family, our 2 kids have gone to MVNU. One has gone to COTC. We've been a part of the Mount Vernon Arts. I took my kids to try out for it, and then they roped me into being the maid. So anyway, I got to act out. My kids are here. Anyway, I will give you my absolute word and pledge that I will fight for Knox County. I will not let outside interests come in and try to steer our community in a way that it doesn't preserve our farmland, preserve our homes, our families, our children. I'll help us to grow in a way that I believe is going to involve everybody. I am a servant. I've been serving the church community. I've traveled all over the world doing outreach, and I can tell you there is no place like America, and we don't lose the greatest country in the world, and it starts in our community. There's never been a more important time to work in our community. If we save Knox, we save our state of Ohio, we save our America, and we must fight for what is right, and I will fight. I'm a fighter. I've written and researched about all these issues at a governmental level, but now God has called me to work in my local community and give back into the people that have given to our family by just being an amazing community for this 30 years.
Mr. Phillips? Mr. Phillips?
Thanks. Let's try this again. Why am I different? Short, fat, and bald, I guess. No. I've never challenged myself to get into politics. I'm not a politician. I've never had anybody I've run into that can work harder than me. Up early, bed late, probably have a cow cabin right now. But anyway, really would enjoy the vote. I think I'm different because I bring tons of different aspects to Knox County. I feel I know the basis for everything in the different fields I've been in my career or in my life. So it's my fault that I haven't got involved, and I'm sorry for all of you folks that I haven't got involved because I could have did a lot of stuff. I'm not a career politician. This is obviously my first go at it, and I think I'd bring greatness to that spot. So thank you.
My mother taught me many things. She was a school teacher, mother of 9 children. I'm the youngest, and one of the things she taught us that words mean things. And I never go by the word politics because poly means many, ticks means bloodsuckers. And I prefer public servant, and that's what I've been from the ages of high school, as I told you about shoveling pigeon poop out of this very facility, to working on the mayor's campaign when I was in high school, to working throughout my life and a lifetime of community service to this community, building partnerships and relationships, not just locally, but at the state level when I was there, and even at the federal level. Having 12 years of experience in this job sets me apart because we're going to have a new sheriff, we're going to have 1 new commissioner. 2 years from now, we'll have another new commissioner. We have a new treasurer. We've recently had a new auditor and a new recorder. There's a reason that statistically 3rd generation and 4th generation family businesses tend to fail. It's because the first generation knew the hard work and sweat and equity that it took to build the business. The next generation saw their parents doing that, and they appreciated it and continued it. By the 3rd and 4th generation, often they missed the hard work that went into it, and they thought it was always easy. And we don't need that at the commissioner level. We need somebody who knows and has the perspective of when it was difficult,
Thank you.
got us through it, and got us to where we are today.
Thank you. This is one final quick question before we go to the final comments. And you have 5 seconds to answer it, and hopefully we don't have to get the timers involved on this. But
5 seconds.
so, we've talked before, and residents have often commented about the meeting times in the morning and being able to attend them and that sort of thing. So the question is, would you agree to invest in live streaming your meetings so that residents can watch them later? And we'll start with Mr. Collier.
We certainly can do that. I think most people would find them rather boring, but absolutely we can live stream those. We can record them, however you'd like to do it. But we do meet in the evening. We just don't meet in the evening in that office. We're out every evening. We serve on boards and commissions throughout the county. More than 30 boards and commissions that the commissioners sit on. So is my 5 seconds up?
What was the question again? No.
That was my 5 seconds.
I think it'd be great to stream, whether you think it's boring or not. Let the people judge that. Let them say, hey, and that's the only way they're going to be informed. We have we have Mountain Vernon News, but we used to get it every day. We don't have that. But then we can, there's my 5 seconds.
Absolutely, we would stream them, and we would make them available where you can actually attend them, because you are the people we represent. You put us in office, you put us in this position, we work for you, and you should be able to inspect our work anytime you want to.
There you go.
The answer is absolutely yes. 4 years ago, I was condemned because I was told that I'd never attended a commissioners' meeting. And if you look at the newspaper today, it says, because I have a job. I had a job. I couldn't be there at 10 a.m. Still can't be there at 10 a.m. But I read the minutes, and if they're podcasted or streamed, it would help everybody immensely.
This is just another way I can be a public servant, because if we stream them, it's going to make me look a little chubby. So, yes, we can stream the meetings and post them so people can see them at their time. They can see them. Yes, I think it's a good idea.
That's a huge yes. And COVID proved to us that we can have meetings without actually being there in person. So it's a no-brainer. We can Zoom it. We can have it on Facebook Live. We could have it any way, just so people can see it.
Yes.
There you go. Okay. Each candidate will now have 1 minute for final comments. And we'll start with Mr. Harmer and just work our way down.
Yes.
And the timers are on for this one.
Are they on? Okay. It's been a privilege to even be considered as a representative of the people of this county. I've had opportunities in other forums to be that representative. I want to continue my walk in being the people's people. If you want more about me, go to jeffharmer.com. I've had that URL for 20 years, and I've never used it until I started this race. For some reason, God put me in this place. I'm walking through the doors He's opening me, but I'm just blessed to be here.
Why vote for Snow for commissioner? Because I'm in the community for the community. When it comes to putting the right person in the commissioner's seat, I'm her. I am embracing future growth and will do my best to protect our farmlands, our green spaces, but we must respect landowner rights as well. It is a slippery slope because none of us want big government telling us what to do. I am the only candidate with the experience to handle the growth coming our way. I have 30 years' experience in creating land and housing developments as a custom home builder, as well as real estate law, contracts, permitting, licensing, employee management as a small business owner creating jobs in Knox County. People ask me, Jennifer, what do you do in your free time? And it's simple. My answer is always, I work. I love to work. That's what I enjoy doing. And I promise you, as your next county commissioner, I will outwork any of these candidates. For you, vote Snow.
I don't even know why I brought this up here. I haven't even used it yet. So, yeah, I look good carrying it. You're going to have a lot of people promise things and say things. Barry kind of touched on this a little bit. We have to keep in perspective what it is to be a county commissioner and what that job is. That is a board that appropriates every tax dollar that comes through the doors. It oversees 23 departments under its jurisdiction. One of the smartest things they ever did was hire Jason Booth, who's the administrator. I talked to Dick Mavis quite frequently, and he always said, boy, we didn't have no administrator. I'd love to have had that. I can't imagine not having an administrator on these days and these times. I do have 30-plus years as a public servant between Mount Vernon Developmental Center and the city of Mount Vernon. I have, at the city of Mount Vernon, overseen many projects, and the widening of Coshocton Avenue was one of the ones that I'm most proud of, because I inspected every traffic signal piece that went in there, and it worked then. It still works a little, but it could have worked better. So, thank you.
Unfortunately, I didn't bring a resume to read from, so I'm going to just talk. I think everybody on this stage is here for a reason, and that's to serve the county. I don't know that there's a bad choice on this stage amongst any of us. I think it comes down to what you, the community, the county, believes is going to do the best job for you. Who's not going to be afraid to headbutt the opposition? Who's not going to be afraid to work every day? This can't be a part-time job, and you can't do it part-time and be successful at it. You have to be there for the community, the county. You have to be representable. You have to be approachable. You have to be transparent. That's why I'm running. I will not promise change, like I said earlier, because majority brings change, not individuals.
Ms. Keesee.
As much as I love you and love our community, I love it more than ever as I've gone to different township meetings. Had the joy last night of seeing Liberty Township after I shared our testimony about what happened with our farm and our land and the solar panels. They decided right there on the spot to do a resolution against solar. And I had this almost crying moment where you feel like you've been through something difficult, and the last 2 years have been very difficult fighting this whole industrial solar panel farm thing that is not a farm. And I want to tell you that I will lay my life down. I've served in ministry, I've served people, I've served my family, my husband, our children for over 40 years. I'm a servant, I'll lay my life down, and I will make sure that I protect us and that we have a vision going forward. Vision will inspire good things, it will bring good things, and if God be for us, who can be against us? I'm not a realtor, and I will not sell out Knox County, I promise you, and I will not sell you out.
I'm a realtor. I've been selling Knox County, I don't know, since I was 23 years old, so that's a long dang time. So, but anyway, that's why I love Knox County, because I love selling it and selling it to people and show them what it's been great for me and my family for history, or for generations, not just now, it's been a long time. You can ask my wife, I don't even like to leave Knox County. I like it here, I love everything about it, I don't need to go anywhere else. I love the people, I love the smiles, and I love everybody when they smile at me. I appreciate it. Vote Bob Phillips.
First, I want to thank for the opportunity, Knox Pages and all those who helped put this together. I know the people, I know the issues, I know the county, I know the job. I know people are passionate about a number of things, and I applaud that. Whether we agree or disagree, I applaud the passion, and I believe that when people come to the table, we can work things out. But to use the tactics that are being used today, to see people make accusations, you can say anything you want about me, I'm on the ballot, but to accuse the commissioners and the staff that we have of not being transparent or not following the law or hiding something from the people is deplorable. And I won't stand for it. You can say that about me if you want to. It's not true, but you can say it. But we've got Teresa Bemiller back there who served for 40 years in public service. We've got Bill Purcell, who has served a number of years. I've served for 25 in some level of public service. Let's not mislead people. Let's deal with facts.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I do want to thank all of the candidates for being with us here tonight, and I appreciate your being flexible because we made some last-minute changes yesterday, so You adjusted very well on the fly, so thank you for that. I want to say thank you to Griffin Insurance for sponsoring our event. I also want to thank the members of the Mount Vernon Mayor's Youth Leadership Council for the timing. They did an excellent job.